Congratulations, you did it. You finally have made the choice to eliminate or reduce your cable bill by purchasing the miraclebox 3.0, and we need to give you a round of applause for taking control of your TV. Now, welcome to the miraclebox family. In this video, this is going to be a thorough tutorial to show you how to properly set up your miraclebox that you just bought. So make sure you pay attention to this entire video because you don't want to miss anything in this tutorial. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Now, I know you have your miraclebox and you're ready to rip this thing open and start streaming all kinds of amazing content. Now, before you begin your binge on the miraclebox, we need to kind of make you aware of a few things before getting started. And if you received your miraclebox on or after January 25th of 2018, then we have some alternative setup instructions. As a matter of fact, it's going to be a little bit easier on you. Now, the reason we have alternative setup instructions is because we are in the middle of pushing out enhancements and upgrades to our miraclebox customers, and due to the high demand of orders we have been getting, we have not had time to embed these upgrades and enhancements into our initial firmware. So because of that, you're having to do your installation and everything manually. Now, the good news for you is that we're going to do all of that for you as a professional courtesy. We're going to set up your box, we're going to download all the upgrades and installs and do it all for you. And the only thing you'd have to do is just open your miraclebox, connect to an internet source, and adjust your screen size, and you'll be off to the races. Now, before we get started with that, there are a few things we have to do to ensure that you're getting the most out of your miraclebox. So we're going to take this in steps, so this is an easy process for you, so you can be able to start enjoying this as quickly as possible and eliminate any type of obstacles that may be in the way. So let's get started, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, the first step is to verify you have a complete package. Now, when you first get your miraclebox and you open it up, you definitely want to go in it and start pulling out the pieces inside of it. Now, the first piece is going to be obvious. It's going to be your miraclebox media center. That is piece number 1. The second piece is going to be your miraclebox standard remote. That's piece number 2. The third piece is going to be your miraclebox power cord. That's piece number 3. And the fourth piece is going to be your HDMI. And the fifth piece is going to be your external antenna. Please verify that you have all 5 pieces in your miraclebox package. If you do not, contact us at miracleboxhelp.com and we'll immediately overnight any missing piece you may have. Now let's move on to the next step. Now the next part is going to take a little bit of thought and a little bit of planning, and that is deciding how you want to connect your miraclebox. Do you want to connect via Ethernet cord, or do you want to connect via Wi-Fi? Now, connecting directly in with an Ethernet cord is always going to give you the fastest and the easiest connection, but you may have structural challenges that may not allow you to do that in the home or environment you're choosing to watch your miraclebox in. Now, if that does not allow for you to have a direct connection, then in this case, you want to consider Wi-Fi. Now, if you're connecting via Wi-Fi, please keep in mind, you're going to have to know the signal strength. You're going to have to anticipate whether or not where you set the box up is even in close proximity to a Wi-Fi to even get a great signal. For instance, it wouldn't be wise to have your Wi-Fi in the basement and you're trying to connect upstairs and your house may be 4 floors apart. That may not be the optimal connection, and you may need to get additional accessories such as Wi-Fi boosters or things of that nature. So once you decide how to connect, we're going to move on to the next step. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about scouting your environment so you put your miraclebox in the best place to have the best possible reception from your internet service. Now, in order to properly scout your environment, you're going to need an app that you can download on your Android phone or Android device. It's called a speed test. You can get this from the Google Play Store. Now, if you have an iPhone or iOS device such as an iPad, you can actually get this from the App Store and download this on your device as well. I'm going to show you how to use this to properly scout your environment. So I've identified where I want to set up my miraclebox. So now I'm going to pull up that speed test tool that I just told you about, and we're going to use it to make sure our environment is getting the right reception for Wi-Fi. So now we're going to press the speed test and we're going to begin test. Now again, this is for Wi-Fi only. If you have an Ethernet, you don't have to worry about this. So I need at least 15 megabytes. And in this case, I am getting way over that. I have a great environment. Obviously, the more speed you have, the better your experience. So now with this, I know that my environment in my home is a perfect environment to stream my miraclebox. So I am all set with the location to set up and begin streaming. So now that you have your environment, it's time to pull the miraclebox out of its packaging. Now, once you open your miraclebox, you may want to do a brief inspection just so you are familiar with the parts of the miraclebox. So let's begin. Let's turn it upright, and we're going to point out some of the areas that you can use in your miraclebox. Now, you have an SD slot. You have 2 HDMI slots. You also have a slot for your power cord. You have a slot for your optical cord. You also have an S-video slot. You have an HDMI slot, an Ethernet slot, and you have a Wi-Fi slot for your antenna. So now that you've kind of looked it over, let's begin to hook it up and let's get started with our streaming. Okay, pull out your power cord and let's get that plugged into the wall. That's the first step. Now it's time to plug in that power cord you just put into your wall. So you want to gently put it in your miraclebox. You don't want to jam it in or force it in too far. You just want to put it in until it just doesn't go anymore, but you don't want to jam it in, and this is the proper way to do it. And also you can know that you have power because there will be a red light on your box indicating that the power source is active. Now just connect in your HDMI cord and remember the port that you use so you can switch to it later. Now it's time to connect the HDMI cord to the back of your miraclebox and make sure you have it in pretty secure and push it in gently to make sure you don't go too far. And now you are ready to begin the next step. Now if you plan on connecting via Ethernet cable, then you just need to plug in. You won't need the antenna for this part, so just plug in your Ethernet cable from your router directly in and you're pretty much all set. Okay, if you're connecting Wi-Fi, be sure not to plug in an Ethernet cable because you have nowhere to plug it to. Just screw in that Wi-Fi antenna that we gave you, and that's going to give you the best possible Wi-Fi signal since you already tested this environment. Now grab your remote, aim it, and press the red button, and it will power the box on. The light will go from red to blue. Now remember, to streamline your experience with the miraclebox, we highly recommend going to our site and picking up some accessories such as the Speed Keyboard Remote or the Smart Remote. They make great accessories with your miraclebox. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, once you turn your box on, this is what the inside of your media center will look like. And the first thing we want to do is we want to connect to our internet source. Now again, some of you may have used Ethernet and some of you may have used Wi-Fi, and whatever source you use, you want to make sure that you connected here. Now in this example, I use Wi-Fi, so I am going to use my keyboard remote, and you're going to see why these come in handy because they're going to save you from having to do all that unnecessary slow typing by navigating from the keys on your screen. So you're going to see that when you first start putting in your Wi-Fi password, because some of you have very long passwords. So in this case, ladies and gentlemen, I had already connected, but if I were to connect to Wi-Fi, what I would generally do is I'd have to put in my passcode. So you would identify your Wi-Fi network and put in your passcode, and just once you connect to Wi-Fi, it will auto connect every time, so you don't have to do this every time. You do this one time. So in this case, I'm just going to put in my password for my Wi-Fi here, and again, I've already connected this previously, so that's why it's showing, but you may not have. And so once you enter in your password, ladies and gentlemen, and again, I use that keyboard remote, that was that clicking you heard, and it was pretty swift. You just hit connect now, and once you connect, well, make sure you put in the right password. But anyway, I put in the right password and it actually connected finally. So once you connect, you're pretty much good to go. So I am going to now go to my display, and I'm going to adjust my screen size. Now, depending on the size of your TV, some of you may want to adjust it down if you have a 55 and under. And if you have a 65, 70, or 80, you may want to adjust it up. You want to do it until all of the edges are kind of filled in on your screen. Now, once you do that, ladies and gentlemen, you should go back to your main screen, hit the return button, and you're going to see that if you connected via Wi-Fi, you're going to see that in the corner that you have a good connection. And if you have all your bars, it means you have a good range, and so you should stream pretty good. But even still, we want to go and we want to do a speed test, and we want to make sure our speed is around the same speed that we started off with. Now, keep in mind, if you're using Wi-Fi, your speed could differ based on the time, because everyone who lives in your neighborhood could decide to get on the internet as soon as they come home at 5 o'clock. And you might have, your son or daughter or significant other who may log on the internet, and they may start using Wi-Fi devices around your house. So that could affect the speed of your internet. So just take those in consideration when doing your speed test. So I'm going to go and do my speed test. And we're going to make sure that we still have at least above 15 megabytes. If it's below, then obviously there's going to be something wrong. And this is where you can actually kind of keep your cable companies in checks and make sure they're giving you the correct speed. And so I'm going to begin speed test here. And actually I'm at 195. That's still pretty darn good. And within this speed test, I want to make sure I am connecting to the right server. So I'm going to go and change that server to make sure my results are a little bit more accurate. So by doing that, you can go to settings here. And you want to make sure that your server is the closest one. In this case, it is. It's 0 miles away. So that is my server, and my speed test again. I got 195 megabytes, which is more than, again, what I need. A little bit less than when I tested the first time, but it's still a great environment to stream. So I'm good to go on that aspect. And now once you've tested your speed and you know everything is good, you can now go into Open Media Center. And when you go in for the first time, you're going to see the miraclebox office, and you're going to notice that you see this little icon here, and everything has pretty much been set up for you. And once your media center populates, then you will be free to kind of move around. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let me also direct your attention to the bottom of the screen. Now, this is where we put all of our announcements. If there is enhancements or updates that need to be made, we put them here. If there's any outages that may happen, we put them here as well. And on the next update, you'll be notified here. So you'll see the miraclebox Media. Scroll down at the bottom, and that's going to give you all the information that you need in regards to being able to update. And again, once you have the miraclebox, we're going to hit the home button and go back to the home screen. Then you literally have lifetime updates and enhancements for the life of this box. And you got your proprietary OTA updater. So anytime that there's an update, this is where you'll go to make your updates. So ladies and gentlemen, that's it for the getting started video. Make sure you watch the next video where we go in depth on the media center to literally show you how to start using some of these applications, what they do, and how to stream them and search for your favorite content. Thanks, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you subscribe to this channel for more great tutorial videos and more informative videos, and we'll see you in the next video. Thanks, ladies and gentlemen, and be sure to subscribe.